You can't even fucking say my name. My name is fucking Arabic, bitch. So go fuck yourself with your ugly balayage. You stank girl. That's all you fucking get in your life. And tell your fucking dad to drive me around Dubai, please, because that's all you're good for is being a fucking driver, you fucking curry munching whore. Reply to this and do what you like with it, because I said what I said, you curry munching whore. Whore.
Hey guys, Desi Faye here. How is it going? Welcome back to my channel where we're figuring out what this channel is about. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So for those of you who are confused by the intro, don't know what happened, don't have any context. Basically, in November of last year, there was a major controversy that arose surrounding two Dubai-based fashion and beauty influencers by the names of Sonia and Faiza Ali. They sent someone a pretty intense and racist voice memo over Snapchat, and that got leaked on the internet, and they got a lot of scrutiny for it. But that wasn't the most interesting part of the story. You see, these girls apparently claim that they are of Arab descent, that they have Iraqi heritage, and the racist voice memo was about Pakis.
Where they donkeys for a living, have no money, a shit ass fucking currency, and no one gives a about them.
But then reportedly, allegedly, they're Pakistani themselves. So it's been a minute. You could be like, Seem, you're a little late on this story. Why are you even talking about this? And it's not to talk about the racist rampage. It's not to talk about Dubai's fashion and influencer scene. It's not my lane. But I was keeping tabs on this somewhat because I felt like there was something much deeper there that we could delve into and talk about. If they are in fact Pakistani, then why would they reject that part of themselves, pretend to be a different ethnicity or heritage or nationality, and then spew such a hateful round of very specific racially charged or nationality charged words towards somebody?
She basically attacked me every single day to my point of where I cracked, because it was my mom's birthday and my mom's no longer here.
Like, I get it. I've been in that position where people say some really nasty stuff to me and I do want to cuss them out. So they could have easily just cussed somebody out without putting that component in there. That's what I want to talk about in today's video. The Desi Inferiority Complex. Quickly, I want to state that Desi is a very broad term that is intended to describe people in the South Asian region, but people get really mad about that term because they're like, no, they have their own nations, their own separate identities, then there's different languages and ethnicities within each country. I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth by using that term, but then also talking specifically about Pakistanis. If you don't like it, if that bothers you, you don't need to watch this video, okay? I don't know what to tell you. About a year ago, I made this video about Arab supremacy and I got fried for it, rightfully so. I don't know, it's not my favorite video, but whatever, that's not what we're gonna get into. It caused a ruckus. But there were people in my comment section who made it very clear that they felt that I had brought those sensibilities of feeling inferior to Arabs upon myself. It's my own fault. Yes, I do believe that a lot of Desi people, especially those who leave their home countries, do tend to have an inferiority complex. And I don't believe that it's their fault, and I'll tell you why. So I've seen this first-handedly in the US, where some people will make it a point to either completely pretend that they are a different ethnicity that they can pass for, or they will make up or exaggerate that they are from a different lineage. So first I'm going to talk about being Pakistani, specifically in the practice of claiming non-South Asian ancestry. On my last trip to Pakistan, I picked up this book by cultural critic, historian, and columnist Nadeem Farooq Paracha. I'm sorry if I'm saying that last name wrong. It's called Points of Entry, and there's a chapter in it called Dubious Ancestors where he talks about how he was lied to about his own tribe's origins, his own family origins. They were saying that they was traced back to Arabia, and when he did some research, he found out that that's not actually the case. It was actually more of Persian and Central Asian roots. He says, so there it was, a true history of my people. Now, honestly, I've seen this a lot where I feel like a lot of Pakistani families will like talk about where their families are from, and it's like, it always goes back to somewhere else, which, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a chance that it could be from somewhere else because there were so many invaders that came through that region of the world. However, that's not really the reason why people claim that. So in that same chapter, he references another book by Dr. Mubarak Ali, In Search of Identity. So if you read his book, essentially he gets into how before partition, before British rule even, there wasn't really a sense of cohesive Muslim identity. Ethnicity was more important in Muslim society in terms of where you ranked in society. So local converts weren't treated very well. They were treated as lower, and so lower caste Muslims did not have access to education or higher ranked roles in society. He says, the Mughals were also very conscious of their their fair color, which distinguished them from the converted darker complexion Muslims. Since being a Muslim of foreign origin was considered prestigious, most of them locally converted Muslim families began to trace their origin to famous Arab tribes or prominent Persian families. So if they are lying about being Arab, I mean, this trend is not something that these Dubai influencers started. This has been around for a long time. It's deeply rooted. But now I'm going to shift to kind of more general terms, generally speaking, on why Desi people have inferiority complexes, especially Desis in the West as a whole. I feel like I've seen this specifically in corporate jobs that I've held, where I've been around, I don't know, I'll just say it, like there have been other Pakistani or Indian men in the same room as me, and it seems like they're trying to distance themselves from their identity. They don't want to connect with me on that portion of their identity. They would rather like stick with the white people and pretend like I'm one of you guys. And I can see it first-handedly. And not to say that maybe I've never done that. I don't know if I have, but maybe I have. But I see this in the workplace specifically. I don't know if you guys know of that Louisiana governor, Bobby, you know, Mr. Bobby over here. I mean, this is what he looks like. And this is the portrait that is hung in his office. Apparently. Weird, so weird. But anyways, let's talk about what colonization does to people and why this is all related to this. The effects of colonization. So for those of you who don't know, the British ruled a really large piece of land in South Asia. It was a lot of space, okay? They only needed a studio apartment. They squatted and stole a 100-acre estate. What the heck? It's not funny, like I'm smiling about this, but there's nothing funny about what the British did. Like there's nothing funny about it. I'm serious. I remember I said something about British people stealing land and someone was like, you have a huge chip on your shoulder? Yeah, I do. And for good reason. So anyway, of course that had a huge impact on people who are from that region, duh. French psychiatrist Ibrahim Fanon, I don't know if I'm saying that right, of course I'm not, was a French West Indian psychiatrist and a political philosopher from the French colony of Martinique. According to his works, when people are colonized, they see their own cultures as less than, and they develop inferiority complexes where they're constantly aspiring to be the other, and they want to distance themselves as much as they can from who they are. And this is something that people in the subcontinent experienced for sure, and an example of that is the British educational system. If we look at it through that lens, I found this snippet here where it says the British viewed their system of education as superior, and to make superior Indians, they introduced the Western education system to them. When you look at colonial India and what that was like, there were definitely layers to it, and I feel like there were native people who were colonized and were definitely brainwashed into this mindset where they were made to feel like they were superior to their own people the more that they acted like the other or their colonizer. And maybe this explains why a lot of Desis are obsessed with education, are highly competitive, and obsessed with being white. Like even like white skin, you know? And sometimes that's disguised. Maybe it's not that clear. Maybe you're thinking like, no, I don't hate my people, but like it may show up in subtle ways that you don't really understand because you haven't read the history or understand the history behind this. So I'm gonna do a hot take on this whole Sonia Faiz, so it's not hot take anymore, it's been cooling off because I'm kind of late on this. You microwaved it and it's just sitting there, disgusting. Going back to the Sonia Faiza thing, I think some of you may disagree with me, but when I look at that situation, I don't see it as like, oh my God, ha ha ha, that's so funny, they're racist and they're stupid and they don't know who they are. And that's kind of how I was seeing things on the internet play out. I feel like it's a lot more complicated than that. And I'm not trying to defend them or what they did. As I said, it's not my cup of tea. I just feel like this is a broader topic and a broader discussion to really like look more critically into. If they are Pakistani or whatever, they're clearly distancing themselves or trying to convince themselves that they are part of the other. They are not what they actually are. And that makes them above other Pakistanis, right? And the other point I want to make that I feel like nobody really talked about is that they're clearly mimicking other sentiments because they're mimicking something in order to fit in. So whatever they were racist rampage going about, they were doing this because they probably witnessed this or understand that that's how the society there works. People who are of Pakistani descent or people who are of South Asian heritage heritage are seen as lower in those societies. And so as funny as it may be, you know, this is likely the behavior that they have seen.
And tell your fucking dad to drive me around Dubai, please, because that's all you're good for is being a fucking driver, you fucking curry munching whore.
Nobody cares about that part. We're all focused on the lies as if this is some sort of Rachel Dolezal situation. And it's not, because that was the opposite. That was the reverse. That was someone coming from a place of privilege to a place to pretend to not be part of that. We're all focused on the lies, but we're not focused on this like deeper thing there. You know, there are different ethnicities and cultures and races even within Pakistani society. So they very well could have been attacking someone who may have been of a lower status in society than them because of their skin color or whatever it may be. And that's how, you know, in turn, they're also treated like that in a place like Dubai. But if we do take that part out of the equation and assume that these are people who are struggling with their own identity, if she is pretending to be Arab going on this racist rampage, isn't that a case of self-hatred rather than racism? You know, it just depends. And at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what is in somebody's heart. I don't know all the details. I mean, people are saying all these things allegedly, but I don't feel like there's any solid proof or evidence on what the truth is. And again, I don't really care about this situation. I'm saying that, I'm making a whole video about this, but I feel like it's something that is kind of relatable to a lot of people because I've seen it myself in something so small as someone lying about where they're from. And the funny thing is that this happened in Dubai of all places, which I think a lot of people know that, you know, the conditions for migrant workers, especially people who come from those regions of the world, not that great. And when I say not that great, I am just very lightly being very not harsh about that at all. And many of the Gulf countries don't have a very good reputation when it comes to how people of that descent are treated, especially as migrant workers or whatever it may be. So who knows? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. I really do feel like the more I delve into this stuff, as foolish as it may seem by making videos sometimes, especially with that Arab supremacy rant that I did, I do feel like in some ways this has been a healing experience for me because it requires me to delve more into the reasons behind why things are the way they are, and it makes me feel better because I'm like, okay, I see what I did wrong there, and I see what I did right there, and I see why I did that, and oh, you know, that's not okay. I'm rambling now, but you guys can check out the links in the video description below. I have more videos coming out soon, and you know, kind of jumping off of that Arab supremacy video, I received some criticism about that, and there are some criticisms that I am going to talk about, and so I am going to make more videos. I'm excited about that. You guys can check out the links in the description below. Yeah, I hope you guys take care now. All right, Tezzy Faye, out. Bye, there's my script. We're done. Oh, I can enjoy the rest of my weekend. Yes, bye. There's nothing left. It's Sunday.